community and in your country, I now can stand and say anything as a person, not as a woman. I can say anything and do anything as a human being, not as a woman. And that is how these people and you being here has taught me invisible children working hard to send students to school, not just boys. Not just saying, oh, we are only sending boys to school because the girls do not have the right. They're supposed to be in the kitchen. Walking out and looking at myself in the mirror in the morning before I walk out to go and say, I am not just a beautiful girl. I am also very brilliant. And I'm going to stand in front of these guys that I interviewed before giving them a job and saying, can we work on this differently? And they're looking at me and they're like, yes, boss, because just really a matter of giving a chance. If all Ugandan women were given the same kind of opportunity, or if I come from a village where I do not have so much opportunity to see a woman driving a vehicle, or a woman dressing up in the morning and going to an office, but leaving my village to go to the university and seeing a woman lecturer coming to teach me, or leaving Uganda to come to the US to sit in a panel of only women talking about development, talking about real powerful issues, just really changes my life. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're a rock star. Something just struck me while I was listening to you talk about where you come from. You were given this amazing opportunity because your mom is obviously amazing, and because Invisible Children offers incredible scholarships supported by a lot of you guys, where you were told that your voice matters. And that changed everything for you, right?
Yeah, just telling me that you're someone, you deserve to be in school, changed everything for me. I mean, even being here, like before talking, I'm like, wow, these girls speak so fast, and they really to talk to them, because that is what my culture tells me, that I cannot speak like that. But also looking at myself and saying, okay, so I have hair, I have everything that they have. I am the same as these girls, so why can't I do the same?
And the thing that strikes me about it is, obviously everyone in this room is here because you're progressive and you're brilliant and you understand what I think all of us understand and the things that we work on every day, which is there should not be an us and them. There are not Americans and Ugandans. There are not rich people and poor people. There are not people who live in conflict-free zones and people who live in war zones. There is us. There is the collective we. We understand that. And we can understand it on that sort of big level. So why is it that in more interpersonal relationships, in rooms like this, in our own tinier versions of society, we get, as women, so affected by that notion of us versus them, like me and my friends versus those girls. Like, maybe those girls are more popular, or those girls have more of this. Or if you've ever spent any time in New York, like, I'm an average height, and there's all these giraffe-sized models walking down the street. You know, what is that for us? What is the thing that makes us talk to ourselves in a way that we would never talk to one of our friends? One of my mom's most brilliant friends said something to me. I went through a less than lovely breakup many years ago, and I was just like, how could I be so stupid, and how could I da-da-da? And I was doing that thing we were talking about, just being so unkind to myself and believing so much of the nameless, faceless criticism of people who don't know me and know nothing about me, deciding that they understood my life. And it was nasty, and my family friend went, hey, you're talking about my best friend like that. And I just burst into tears, and I was like, oh my God, if somebody talked about one of my friends the way I'm talking about myself, I'd be like, what? I'd like go green, and I'd be the Hulk, and I'd be this crazy person, but why don't I stand up for myself? Why do I treat myself as though I'm different than the rest? So I think something that's really important for us as women is to look at this idea. We get the us and them notion on a big scale, we know it's bullshit. But we need to look at it in our micro communities, in our classrooms, in our colleges, in our workspaces, and then we need to look at it in the us as in me versus them as in everyone else. And why do we differentiate like that? Why don't we fight for justice for our neighborhood the way we do for the world? And why don't we fight for meaning and a sense of purpose for ourselves the way we do for our friends and for our families? Because we deserve it. Unequivocally, we deserve it.
Can I follow up a little bit? Just on that note about kindness, because something someone said to me changed my perspective as well. And one of the things we were talking about is how do we give really tangible advice so that it's you get to take something, you get to walk out of here with something. And one of the things that was presented to me was this concept of it's a symbiotic relationship. The way people is practice for the way in which we treat ourselves, and the way in which we treat ourselves is practice for the way in which we treat others. And for me, it was so hard, similarly, I'm such a sucker story still, but of just how nasty I was to myself for so long. And of this negative talk, and because we also talked a lot about judgment last panel, and talking about how judgmental we are as girls and how we break each other down instead of building each other up, and what can we really do to create a sense of competition among girls, and how do we make that the new culture, that's the new girl culture, that it's not cool anymore to talk trash about yourself, that your girl